వర్ధిల్లవమ్మా కలకాలం సనాతన సారథి వర్ధిల్లవమ్మా కలకాలం సత్యసాయేషుని మానస పుత్రిక సుజ్ఞానమును ఒసగే పత్రిక అజ్ఞానమనే చీకటి నుంచి జనులను రక్షించే కరదీపిక రామకథారసవాహిని నుండి ఆత్మానాత్మ వివేచన వరకు భగవానుడు సాయీషుడు పలికిన పలుకులనే అందించిన తల్లి శ్రీ శివ సాయి లీలలు మహిమలు ఉపదేశములు సంభాషణలు ప్రతి మాసమున ప్రజలకు తెలిపి వెంటగ జంటగా ఇంటనుంటివి వర్ధిల్లవమ్మా కలకాలం సనాతన సారథి
It was the auspicious day of Shivaratri. The date was 16th February 1958. In a grand function held at Prashanti Nilayam, Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba released the first issue of Sanatana Sarathi. The magazine which was destined to uplift, transform and redeem mankind by sowing the seeds of Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema and Ahimsa in the heart of man. Thus started the march of this epoch-making magazine. Bhagavan embarked upon his divine mission to assume the role of world teacher after 32 years of his life sojourn on earth, having already declared that in his first 32 years he would show primarily his Leelas and Mahimas. Lord Krishna became the Sarathi of Arjuna and gave the divine message of the Gita. The same Lord has now assumed the role of Sanatana Sarathi, the eternal charioteer of mankind. Bhagavan revealed his resolve to launch this monthly magazine during his conversation with Professor N. Kasturi, the first editor of Sanatana Sarathi, in the house of Sri Vitthal Rao at Wilson Garden, Bangalore. Bhagavan said to Professor Kasturi, "Now you have work at Puttaparthi. A monthly magazine will start soon." He also told him that he had decided to designate it as Sanatana Sarathi. The first issue of the magazine was printed in a press at Dharmavaram. Later, when Bhagavan visited Bangalore, he himself went to Vichar Darpan Press on Avenue Road and bought a foot-operated treadle printing machine. Bhagavan also bought a case each of Telugu and English types and other necessary equipment to set up a printing press at Prashanti Nilayam, which was to be named Sri Satya Sai Press. The press was set up in a small room at the eastern end of what was earlier called Pathashala block. For many months, Sanatana Sarathi was bilingual and contained both English and Telugu matter. Bhagavan was its main contributor. He specially wrote an article for Sanatana Sarathi every month. Professor Kasturi went to Bhagavan to collect this handwritten article in Telugu, which he translated into English and put both English and Telugu versions in the same issue. Professor Kasturi gives a very interesting account of the processes through which the magazine passed in his autobiographical book, Loving God. Every month, after the printing was over, I stuffed the quantity of English and Telugu magazines into 2 gigantic boxes, took them to Bukkapatnam on a bullock cart, had them lifted to the roof of the bus proceeding to Penukonda and ordered the bus to stop near the level crossing about 300 yards away from the Penukonda railway station. The boxes were brought down from the bus and a Tarzanian porter, Narasappa, carried them as head load to the platform. There, I awaited the arrival of the passenger train to Bangalore. Reaching Bangalore, porters loaded them into a horse-drawn vehicle, which I directed to a press which had a cutting machine. The English and Telugu magazines were then taken to the house of a devotee in the heart of the city. I spent the night there with a dozen young men who volunteered to put the magazines into wrappers with the addresses on, which I had brought from Nilayam. Next day, I repeated the schedule while returning. Horse-drawn vehicle, porters, Bangalore railway journey, Penukonda station, Narasappa, level crossing, bus until Bukkapatnam, bullock cart, and finally the Prashanti Nilayam post office.